My name is Officer Wright. I work for the East Brunswick Police Department in the Community Policing Unit. I'm here today to discuss the importance of wearing a bike helmet. I have a special guest in the studio with me today, and his name is Charlie. Charlie's a resident of East Brunswick. Charlie reached out to me via email stating he would like to do something special for his bar mitzvah project. Charlie stated he wants to share his story on what happened to him on June 15, 2020. Charlie, please introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Charlie and I live in East Brunswick. And so basically what happened to me is I ended up getting hit by a car. And so here's what happened. So it was the first day my parents let me ride bikes with my friends since quarantine because they had pretty strict rules. And then after that, I was just riding and I got hit by a car. And I actually don't remember a lot of this because their doorbell camera, someone's doorbell camera, recorded it. So,
Right.
And because of the concussion, I didn't really remember most of it. And so after that, I was kind of in the hospital for a few days. And then since then, I had to do, like, once I left the hospital, I had to do like a series of like concussion therapy. And it I wasn't the same until like maybe like 4 months. And then after that, I was kind of the same as I am now, but it kind of changed me. And this is really my helmet, and it's not really that bad, but the helmet that I was wearing, I guess it kind of saved my life, because who knows what would have happened if I wasn't wearing a helmet when I hit my head against the ground.
Is that the exact helmet you were wearing at the incident? Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So you really understand the importance of wearing a helmet. Let me ask you a question, Charlie.
Yeah.
How did you feel about wearing a helmet prior to this incident? When your mother said or your father said, Charlie, if you're going to ride a bicycle, you have to wear a helmet. What are some of the emotions or some of the things that you felt?
I mean, at that point, it's kind of funny because I didn't really care, I guess.
Okay.
But this really taught me to wear a helmet and like how important it is.
Okay, so you weren't opposed to wearing a helmet prior to this. You were kind of just indifferent. It didn't make a difference to you. If they told you to wear a helmet, you would wear it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you, what would you say to students that are close to your age, that are peers, whether it's someone that's a little bit younger or somebody that's a little bit older, or even adults that may be listening to this that have children? What would you say to them that are opposed to wearing a helmet? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
I mean, it's your choice, but if you want to wear a helmet, you definitely should, and you probably should wear a helmet no matter what, because if something like this happens, and you never know it could, you should be ready, and wearing a helmet will really help what happens, and you might not get hurt as much.
Right. You sent me some pictures, and we're going to show that, and it shows some of the bruises and some of the scars and what you look like after the accident. And it shows the value and importance of wearing a helmet, because without that helmet, it could have been much worse than what it actually was. Correct?
Yeah, it could have went, then I would have had no protection on my head, and what happened was I went flying off my bike and ended up going straight first into my head, and if I wasn't wearing a helmet, then maybe I wouldn't be here to tell my story today. Absolutely.
Now, how long were you actually in the hospital?
So it was only like 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days?
Yeah. Something like that.
And you have no recollection of the incident itself?
So I remember like glimpses, but not really any more than that.
Okay. What part do you actually, when you say glimpses, what little details do you actually recall?
Okay, so I remember a few hours before when I was at my friend's house and I fell off their chair.
Okay.
And when I went into the hospital, they actually asked me, how did you get a concussion? I was like, I fell off my friend's chair. And that's what I thought happened. So
you thought you fell off your friend's chair and that's what caused you to get a concussion?
Yeah, exactly, because I didn't remember any part after that.
Wow. Well, you know what? When you reached out to me and I heard your story, it really reminded me of something that happened to me when I was young as well. Now, how old are you, Charlie, just so the students can know? The parents?
So I'm 12, but I'm turning 13 in 3 days.
12, turning 13 in 3 days. When I was 12 years old, 12 years old, I had a bicycle accident myself. Not quite the same as yours, but a little bit different in the sense of I received a bicycle for Christmas. Really loved it, really enjoyed riding this bicycle. I didn't think it was cool to wear a helmet. I didn't think it was cool at all. So you were a little bit different than me. You were a little bit more mature. You had the emotions you said you felt when your parents told you to ride a bike was just kind of indifferent. Hey, if I need to wear it, I'll wear it. If I don't have to, then so be it. But I didn't want to wear it. I despised wearing a helmet. But my grandmother, who I was raised by, my grandmother said, listen, if you're going to ride this bicycle that you enjoy, you have to wear a helmet. If I catch you outside riding your bicycle without wearing a helmet, I'm going to take your bike for the remainder of the summer. Now, I had a GT Performance, kind of like a BMX, like a trick bike. So on the pedals, it was freestyle. It could just freely go backwards. So I had no brakes on the pedals. So all I had was my brakes on the handlebars. So I'm riding down the street, and I grew up in the inner city where there's like alleyways. And I can hear a car coming down the alleyway, but I couldn't see the car, but I could hear it. So I'm riding pretty fast. I pressed the front brake of this bike, and I literally nose dove over the front handlebars and went head first. That was the first day that I actually wore that helmet. And I sit here today and say, if I wasn't wearing a helmet, I don't know what could have happened to me. I'm not saying I would have died, but maybe I would have suffered some type of injuries like you suffered. So I completely agree with you. It's so important to wear a helmet. Yeah. So important.
Definitely.
Is there anything else? Because this is your opportunity. You know, kids learn from seeing other kids. It's one thing for me to sit here as a police officer, as an adult, and tell them the importance of wearing a helmet, but they need to hear it from you. Is there anything else that you want to add to encourage them to wear a helmet? Because oftentimes people think, oh, it won't happen to me. I'm the exception to the rule. It may have happened to Charlie, but it won't happen to me. But what you have anything you want to say to them to encourage them to wear a helmet despite maybe feeling like it's not cool, or their friends may make fun of them? Because, you know, peer pressure is something someone like your age, students your age, have to deal with. And there's negative peer pressure and there's positive peer pressure. Anything you want to say to them to encourage them? Yeah,
so at the end, it doesn't matter if you don't think it's cool, because you might not be alive to think it's cool if you get in some serious accident and you hit head first into the ground or something. And if that happens, you never know when it could happen. It just might happen out of the blue. Some crazy driver might end up hitting you or something. And if you're not wearing a helmet when that happens, it could be really bad.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things when I go into the schools, I talk to them about, Charlie, I talk to them about making responsible decisions. We have to make responsible decisions. And typically in life, we have two types of decisions we're going to make: good decisions and bad decisions. Sometimes you can make a choice between apples and oranges, and they both may be good decisions, but oftentimes you have to make a good decision or a bad decision. A good decision will yield positive consequences. A bad decision will yield negative consequences. And that's what you're telling these students and parents at home. You're saying that your child needs to make a good decision, because a good decision will yield a positive consequence. And that's what you did that day when you wore a helmet. You made a wise choice. You made a good decision. And that decision, like you said, potentially saved your life. Yeah. So for that, I want to say congratulations to you for making good decisions, because accidents do occur. Sometimes it may be our fault, sometimes it won't be. It may not be our fault. But I applaud you for making a good decision. And that should be encouraging to everyone that's listening. So thank you for that. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. But at the same time, you have to wear a helmet. You never know when something like this could happen to you, and you could just get hurt for no reason, even if it's not your fault, or even if it is your fault. It doesn't matter. A helmet will help you either way. Absolutely. And I want to thank you for having the courage to come on here and do this, because I know it's not easy, right? I know we all have butterflies. Sometimes we all get nervous, but you've done exceptionally well. You really have. You've done exceptionally well. And I'm proud of you for having the courage. I'm proud of you for reaching out and saying, listen, Officer Wright, this is what happened to me, and I want to share my experience with other students, other people within the community. So for that, I applaud you as well. Thank you. So congratulations, and hopefully your bar mitzvah goes well, and that you continue to progress, and one day you'll be a father, a husband, you'll be able to look back at this moment and be able to tell your kids to wear a helmet and they can see this recording. All right? Yeah, I'm definitely going to tell my kids to wear a helmet. I'm sure you will. Any closing remarks you want to say to the people? If so, you can look into your camera and tell them. All I have to say is wear a helmet. That's it. You heard it from Charlie himself. Wear a helmet. Thank you so much for tuning in to this. This is a bicycle safety presentation. Stay tuned, because we have some bicycle safety tips from kidshealth.org. Number 1, make sure your bike helmet fits you well. Number 2, always wear your helmet the right way so it will protect you. Make sure it covers your forehead and don't let it tip back. Always fasten the straps. Number 3, don't wear a hat under your helmet. Number 4, take care of your helmet and don't throw it around.
If it's damaged, it won't protect you as well when you need it. Number 5, get a new helmet if you fall while you're on your bike and hit your head. Number 6, put a reflective sticker on your helmet so drivers can see you better. In addition, please make sure that your helmet has a CPSC sticker, which stands for Consumer Product Safety Commission. If you have any further questions or would like additional information, feel free to reach out to myself, Officer Wright, at the East Brunswick Police Department, Community Policing Unit, at 732-390-6938, or you can email me at communitypolicing@ebpd.net. Thank you.